Hi Capricorn and Capricorn rising. Here is a general look at your solar chart for March 2015, and there's a lot of very strong energy of daringness, boldness, even brashness going on this month. But in the first 3 weeks there's a kind of uncertainties and a little bit of confusion and things not quite being clear, and this is for all of the signs, but it particularly will be affecting in the second and third weeks your sign, because you are a cardinal sign, so watch out for that. That's the time to just kind of keep steady as you go, really, deliberately be aware of, now I have to keep steady, you know, and that is because Mars is going across Uranus and Pluto being in your sign, and they are in an argumentative mood with each other. Of course, on the wider stage, that might mean that there are things going on, all of a sudden things sort of taking off one way or another, but there's some good aspects and some positive aspects as well. But those are the ones, you know, that's a sort of kind of weather system to mention to you, because it's a kind of swirling weather system which could keep us on our toes, definitely get our attention anyway. Now there's also going to be an eclipse, so yeah, it's quite a busy month. Until the 21st, the sun is actually in quite a mobile area, so meeting, greeting, socializing, moving around, and connecting over the phone, over the net, you know. I mean, we're living in an age of connection, so maybe not overdoing it so you just kind of get frazzled. So definitely take some time out where you can just chillax, as it were. But education would be a good thing, and anything to do with negotiations is also perhaps a good thing, because this, or rather not a good thing, but it might be a thing that has your attention. Okay, and the Mars energy is actually perhaps meaning that a nerve can be touched sometimes, or, you know, there are things coming up within you to do with the past, to do with maybe location, to do with your sense of belonging, etc. But more on that in a minute. First of all, the eclipse, it's a solar eclipse, and this will be on the 20th. It's going to be right on the cusp of Pisces and Aries, and this signals that on that day before the eclipse is a good moment to take the initiative to make changes regarding anything to do with communications, education, maybe communications equipment, vehicles and the like, or maybe things to do with family, things to do with the home base. So, you know, maybe you need to write that letter, pick up the phone, get in touch with that person. It's also the moment for change and improvement related to property, like DIY, or maybe it's not like that. Maybe it's more personal, maybe it's to do with family relationships, maybe it's to do with the past. So anyway, whatever you're doing, just that one tiny thing on that day is going to set the intention for the unfoldment over the coming 6 months. That's the idea with a strong solar eclipse, which will be seen more in Europe at around about 7:40, starts 7:40 a.m. in the morning. And if you're way up north, up, you know, near the Arctic Circle, Greenland or Iceland even, you'll get about 90% of totality. Further down, it's about 40%. I believe, but you can easily Google it the same way as I did. Now there is Mercury in a very practical frame of mind. You know, it's the hows and the whys and the wherefores are left on one side. It's the mechanics of it. So the whys and the wherefores, it's not too bothered about that. It's actually being looking into the material side of things, the physical, basic stuff, here. So considering essentials and resources and basic needs, and gathering information about those sorts of things. And of course we can't leave money out of that, because money is a basic essential that the world kind of turns around. Plans may focus upon useful resources or practical ways of achieving this or that or the other result. Buying, selling, renting, leasing, that can also be on your mind up until the 13th. But then from the 13th, Mercury moves into the same outgoing, chatty area as the Sun, and that's to do with communications in general, and, you know, connecting with the right person, getting the right bit of information, and getting certain people kind of maybe on side, or whatever it is. But it's also educational, it's also to do with negotiations and promotions as well. Up until the 17th, Venus is beaming a friendly, sociable light right into the root of your chart. This is lovely energy. It can mean that people come into your home maybe, and you're the host, or maybe you going into other people's homes or places like venues, or indeed places on the map. It might be away from where you live. It could be somewhere where you all meet up in a sociable kind of a way. It could be a good time for you to appreciate more what you've got going for you in your surroundings. You really do think, wow, you know, this isn't bad. This is really good. And of course, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, this is going to be early spring for you. So the garden, etc., will be getting your attention a little bit more. And maybe, you know, you are feeling blessed because you have what you have, no matter how insignificant or small it is, whether it's, you know, herbs or bulbs coming up on the windowsill. Hang on a minute. Sorry, I'm a human scarecrow. I was just scaring away the starlings that are taking the food from the blackbirds and the robins and the little birds. Anyway, so there's that, feeling more or getting access to somewhere you prefer is more likely. And also Mars at the root of your chart shows that you could be very busy. Again, this touchiness is there, this nostalgia maybe sometimes, this just, you know, feelings a bit nearer the surface, this harking back to the past, or maybe the past coming into your present in some way or another, but being busy right in your own backyard, and or to do with the neighborhood. And there can be conflicts, as always with Mars, particularly this month, because there is a conflict within you maybe, or conflicts around you, or maybe just on the wider stage if you haven't got planets or the Sun right on those degrees. And the degrees, by the way, if you want to check this up, is going to be those Capricorns born in the middle 10 days or with 13 to 17 degrees rising, okay? And then it diminishes further and further and further out from those degrees, sort of lesser degrees and increasing degrees, all right? Then you can, you know, this is a weather report. This is what this is. Astrologically, it's a weather report. So those are the sort of the cosmic energies there. And yeah, you can just expect the unexpected, maybe expect to have to be flexible and roll with it a bit more. Expect interesting things to be happening, though. You know, it's not going to be boring. But maybe you prefer boring because it's safe. But I mean, you know, sometimes we all do. I do. It could be a good time anyway for you to be very, very busy on the home patch or wherever you're located, whether it's at home or not. And also skeletons could start rattling in the closet, things to do with the past, as I said before. And then from the 21st, the focus will, and that might not just be in your personal life, that might be to do with, you know, the larger picture, what's going on, you know, in the world. Now, from the 21st, the focus will probably be more in and around the base of operations because the Sun is going in there as well. Venus comes out of there, actually, from the 17th and goes into I call the house of fun. So it's like, even though there is this huge emphasis on this, the base of operations, your country, your place on the map, your the place you live, just a space where you're living, or just where you live inside. It can be brought right down to that, you know. Venus will have nipped out into the next area from the 17th, and that brings a little bit of, you know, relaxation, a freer feeling with it, not so kind of closed into the emotional kind of moods and reactions to things. And in general, this energy can link you to children, it can link you to your inner child, it can link you to anything that you really enjoy doing, like a hobby, a pastime, a leisure pursuit, performance. Anything to do with performance or promotions is connected to this area. Art, very much so as well, and romance. Yeah, so that then gives that kind of different flavor coming in from the 17th. Now the new position of Saturn, well, it's not so new now, but it's in the sign before yours and will be coming into your sign 2017, and it means that you've got to be tying up loose ends from the past. You really are putting your house in order over this period between now and 2017, apart from a small gap this year, but for most of the time. And you may be doing more inner work, you may be following certain practices or remedies, or getting your health sorted, or getting just things tied up and sorted out and cleaned up to do with the past, you know, that long record that you might have, or maybe, you know, you don't if you're in your younger years. But we've all got something to do with the past, even if we're really young, because this is also a karmic house. So there are things to do with our deep past as well. And you Capricorns born 25th to the 27th, or with 3 to 5 degrees rising, are going to find that energy the most, feel that energy the most this forecast period. And then Jupiter has begun a new cycle, it's again not such a new cycle now, and it's in your joint financial area, which is no bad thing. Materially, it does mean that things could pick up for you financially, to do with property. You know, it is an area of letting go, so you might have to let go of something in order for these improvements to really kind of dig in, you know, and really start to work. And Jupiter really delivers. And I have to say that this month there is a stunningly good aspect between Jupiter and Uranus, and you may be able as a Capricorn to partake of that, particularly with Jupiter in this area here, where a bolt from the blue, something really outside of your normal routines, and you've got to be open-minded for this one, is actually a really, turns out to be a really much better option than you imagined, you know, the way things were going to turn out. So or it might not be like that. It might simply be that you weren't imagining how things were going to turn out, and something just pops up which really does turn your head and makes you think differently about this or that or the other thing. It might make you feel as though suddenly you got some support there. It might be emotional, it might be financial, it might be to do with property, it might be to do with a contract or an agreement, but you just feel just this other thing coming in, which is like a breath of fresh air. You Capricorns born the 1st to the 7th of January, or with 11 to 16 degrees rising, are going to feel that energy the most over this forecast period. And that's it for March. This is written up on my website. Well, some of it I've just kind of been telling you as I've been going along, but the basics are written up on my website, and you can always listen to your moon sign or your rising sign as well. That'll give you some more info. Hopefully it's not going to confuse you even more, and I'll see you the next time.